All right, guys, we're going to talk about hormonal imbalance as it relates to males. So, what I want to do is I want to talk to you about things that you may not have heard before that can really give you some inside answers as to what's going on. Because I know a lot of you don't get the proper answers and you want to know, put all the puzzle pieces together and get to the root cause of the problem so you're not just spinning your wheels in the mud, so to speak. And number two, I want to give you some solutions. So, first and foremost, let's look at it a little bit differently. Let's say you're the guy that goes and exercises and you don't lose the weight that you're looking to, or you don't put on the muscle that you're looking to, and it's frustrating. And then you don't feel so great. You don't have a lot of motivation, you don't have libido, you may have difficulty with arousal, and you know, hey, this is no way for me to be living right now. So you go see your doctor. The doctor runs some tests, and maybe there are things that are showing up, like your cholesterol levels are higher, or maybe your cholesterol levels are lower. And a lot of the times that could be a major problem. Doctors may say to you, hey, John, your cholesterol levels are amazing. Don't worry about anything. That's probably an aha to think, oh, maybe my cholesterol levels need some support, which we'll talk about shortly. Then they may say, hey, you have your glucose levels are elevated, your insulin levels are elevated, your triglyceride levels are elevated, your liver enzymes may be elevated, and maybe you have low vitamin D, right? Let's say those are the things that are going on. And then they put you on testosterone because, hey, you're not feeling good and you want to get your oomph back. You want to be able to get some muscle. You want to be able to lose the belly fat, and you just want to be able to feel better. And maybe that helps, but this video is for those that it doesn't help. That's what this video is for. And I want to discuss why it doesn't help. First and foremost, it comes down to the doctor's not telling you everything that you need to know. The first thing I would tell you is you have ongoing inflammation. You have ongoing inflammation. Chances are you have ongoing blood sugar issues, whether it's insulin resistance or it's the roller coaster ride of low glucose, high glucose, low glucose, high glucose, and you want to know what supplements you can be using. So what I would say to you is that inflammation that you're dealing with, there's a lot of things that I want you to look at. I want you to look at your ferritin. Ferritin, just today I talked to a gentleman whose ferritin was 330 and he told me it was only a little high and the doctors weren't too concerned about it. The problem with that ferritin reading is that the lab ranges are so broad nowadays, 30 to 300. That's ridiculous. That's like saying you're 33 and I'm 297, we're both the same. It's just ridiculous to even think about. But new research is actually showing that if your ferritin is higher than a 75, even 100, that's indicative of inflammation. And inflammation is really going to break down your steroid cycle. It's going to cause the plinko chips to go down the wrong pathways. Like you watch The Price is Right, they put the plinko chip and you want it to go right into the high money value, but then it goes into the zero. That's what inflammation will do. It will cause it to go into estrogens. So your doctor says, don't worry, John, we got it covered. What we're going to do is we are going to give you aromatase inhibitors. And you can take some DIM, and that's going to clear that out. That's like saying, don't worry, John, your oil is low in your car. We're just going to put a Band-Aid over it. You're not going to see it anymore. It really is telling you that. So first and foremost, you want to settle down your inflammation. And that really comes down to what's driving that. And now what we're doing is we're looking at things like chemical exposures, plastics in your water bottle, very estrogenic, looking at the environmental chemicals. We're looking at infections. We're looking at viruses. We're looking at molds. We're looking at other things like stress and how all of that creates that inflammation. So typically then what you'll do is, okay, I'm not going to go on the androgens, I'm not going to go on the growth hormone, I'm not going to go on the testosterone and the steroids, I'm going to take pregnenolone or DHEA. Again, you're not fixing the plinkos and it's going directly into the estrogens. And just by taking the estrogen blocker, you're not going to fix your way into good health. So it comes down to what I like to do is look at some genetics, because it starts with, hey, what happens if you actually do have low cholesterol? And I see low cholesterol 100s, 110, 140, 150. It's like, great, John, are you taking any statins? No, this is what my blood cholesterol levels have always been. That's a problem. You have a problem with using your fat, and it could be the PEMT SNP, an ACAT SNP, a PANK SNP, FAD, some SLC SNPs. How would you know about that? Well, you do a genetic test, and every client we work with, we do a genetic test so we can see how well they're going to use that fat, absorb that fat, flow the bile, remove the toxins, reduce the inflammation, put the prerequisites into the steroid cycle, and change the way the plinko chips are going to fall. The next thing that I would look at is gene SNPs that can control inflammation. And I didn't draw that on the diagram here, but your body is really intelligent. Your body wants to preserve energy, wants to be able to balance your free radicals with your antioxidants. And when that's not happening, typically you're in favor of your free radicals. There's not enough antioxidants. And as a result, that inflammation is going to cause these plinko chips to go down the wrong pathway. The other thing I would say is you need to get a complete hormone test. So what I like to do is I look at blood tests, I look at saliva tests, but I mostly look at urine tests, the Dutch test. I love the Dutch test because it shows me exactly where these are going down the wrong pathway, and then it tells me what we can do to fix that. The third thing I would tell you to do is really look at controlling your glucose. I mean, come on, guys. It's not just about eating more protein. You have a protein threshold that if you eat lots of protein, number one, you're probably getting growth hormone fed, antibiotic fed, corn fed, infected bacteria fed beef. High probability. When that's happening, that's creating an imbalance of your autophagy and your mTOR, whole other video. And that's causing you not to lose weight, causing you more inflammation, more oxidative stress, more problems with the plinko chips going down the wrong way. Now let me ask you, has your doctor told you anything about this? No, they haven't. They've just said aromatase inhibitors, DHEA, and some DIM, right? Am I right? The last thing I would say is, okay, well, you're so wise, you're so smart, Dr. Joel, what supplements would you recommend? First and foremost, I would recommend anti-inflammatory supplements. So omega fatty acids, not just omega-3, but parent essential oils, omega-3s and omega-6, hopefully in a plant-based, fully organic product. And I'll put a link under that so that you can look at the one that I like. Definitely curcumin and turmeric. There's some really good ones out there that will help to balance that mTOR and that autophagy. I really like the idea of getting either NRF2 support or glutathione support, and curcumin is kind of in that category. It really is. As far as hormonal support, well, I want to absorb my fats, right? I want to get that bile flowing. So I like binders. I like things like phospholipids. Those can be really, really good. If you have a trouble with absorbing your healthy fats, ox bile could be really good. And then the other thing I'm going to tell you about, and it's going to be a whole other video, so make sure you like, you subscribe, and you make a comment. But I'm going to talk to you about nitric oxide. Nitric oxide, you're going to want to know about that. There's whole genetic components. There's whole inflammatory components. There's whole absorbing of healthy fats and flowing of bile components. But who's the guy that has problems with nitric oxide? The guy that has hormonal imbalance and is not able to get an erection. I mean, that's a sort of a four-letter word for us guys, right? Because with this, number one, we're brave, we're cool, we're macho. We don't want to talk about that. And it's hard to bring up with the doctors. But really, let's face it, when we have hormonal imbalances, we're more emotional, we have low libido, low motivation, low drive, we're not able to lose the weight. So those are the things I hope that you understand that are brand new, that your doctors are not telling you about. Once again, my name is Dr. Joel Rosen, and what I want you to do is I want you to subscribe to this channel. I want you to go check out my website. It's called thetruthaboutadrenalfatigue.com. And if you're looking for someone to support you with your recovery from your imbalance, I can certainly do that by looking at your hormones, looking at your genetic testing, looking at sources of inflammation, teaching you how to become metabolically flexible, giving you the right supplements and not just throwing crap at the wall and see what sticks, and really getting your life back. So hopefully that made a lot of sense. I look forward to balancing your hormones and giving you the life that you deserve. Take care and have an awesome day.